I'm Pat Crutchfield. I've been photographing Springfield for a very long time. When I was 8 years old, my dad gave me a Kodak Brownie, and strapped as I was for cash at the time, I went out and I was living in Springfield, and I began to photograph the neighborhood. Many years passed, and Springfield went through a decline and is, I think, right now on the brink of a revival, and that makes me very happy. So I took my camera out over this last summer, and actually over the last 5 years or so, and began to capture images of art in downtown Springfield. I'm very happy to hear that Springfield is committed to continuing its Fresh Paint Springfield project into next year. What I've captured here are images of the city with its vibrance and its color, and people enjoying it. And I'm really hoping that this helps people notice the vibrancy and the aliveness in Springfield. So when I look at Springfield now, I'm struck by images like this, which is a close-up of a piano. There are many pianos all over the city with an inviting sign that says, "Play me." I have captured people playing the pianos and having a lot of fun, and I suspect that as we move through this conversation, we'll sweep through some of those images and you'll be able to see some of those. This is an example of one of the pianos all over the city of Springfield, and this is the George Walter Vincent Smith Museum. When I came across this gentleman, he actually had about a dozen family members around him. They were having a great deal of fun with this piano. I waited because I wanted a shot that showed his focus, and it was the family was quite joyous. So I just waited, and I had about 2 seconds to get this shot. I got it, and I actually love the way the arches are reflected in the image. I like the two man buns, one on Buddha and the other on the piano player. And I just like the notion of someone being able to pick out tunes in public and sing. I enjoy visiting cities, and I enjoy walking. This is an image I captured at the Quadrangle. There were a couple of little sisters who were playing around with the Dr. Seuss commemoration, and they didn't see me, and so I was having a great deal of fun just candidly photographing them. Until this little one went over and sat in her chair, and when she turned around and stuck her tongue out at me, I knew she had seen me, so my fun was over. But I just love this open air place where kids can come and play and hang out. And these two sisters obviously knew Dr. Seuss and were quoting from The Cat in the Hat, among other things, and they were fun to watch and capture. So what do you do when it's a 90-degree day and you live in the city? Well, you go downtown to the Riverfront Park if you live in Springfield, and you can enjoy a sprinkler system just for you. There's nothing really to say about this image except I love it because the kids are having fun, and Mom seems to be okay with them getting all wet. Perfect plan to cool down on a 90-degree day. So I'm photographing downtown Springfield and capturing the art in the city because I'm a firm believer in the power of public art. And I would recall that there was a great sneaker festival in Springfield some years ago. This was out in front of Symphony Hall. And of course, there is the monument to our 9/11 catastrophe down now in the Riverfront Park. I think this is the way of honoring the lives of people who, in this case, were obliterated. And I like the idea of honoring the fact that the basketball was created in downtown Springfield. And I love the idea of creating public monuments that honor these events.
John Willis, better known for the Dakota Pipeline protest photographer, has 21 artwork on exhibit here in Munson. Munson Art Council hosts the Robert Floyd Photo Gallery, and it's our 4th year in a row. And this exhibit is social justice revitalizing environmentalism. And this image here is missed at the Oseti-Sakowin camp, and that stands for 7 council fires. And John Willis first arrived in early September 2016. He was to visit for another 13 months, making 6 trips, living out of his vehicle for a total of 8 weeks. And he photographed what no other person photographed, and as well as he photographed. And the pipeline protest became a cause célèbre internationally. When he first arrived in 2006 in September, there were approximately 350 people at the camp. A year plus later, it grew for that Thanksgiving in 2017 to 12,000 to 15,000. And this is missed at Oseti-Sakowin camp. And John has a style as a photojournalist, which I've never seen before. His images are very enticing. They're not purely documentary, which is another process, another way of photojournalism. But you're there. You can feel the pain, you can feel the cold, you can feel the anger and the protest of a pipeline, a 1,200-mile pipeline designed where if there was a spill, it would ruin their water on the Missouri River. That's their only source of drinking water. During the protests, there were actually 2 spills in the vicinity. One, a 12,000 gallon spill, and another one where there was 200,000 gallons spilled in one day. Press really didn't cover much of that. This was where the excitement was. People came from all around the world, and they stopped the pipeline. And they weren't against the oil pipeline. They simply wanted an environmental assessment done, which was refused. They wanted to work with those constructing. They wanted really a win-win for everyone. And their drinking water was what they were protecting. John Willis is known as the photographer who photographed the Native American protesters, the protectors of the water. I call them pipeline protesters, but that's my bad. They really are native water protectors. And people from around the world came by the thousands, encircling them, protecting them from law enforcement, who showed up in record numbers with M16 rifles. And native and non-native military veterans showed up, the first time probably in the world, because it was a cause that's affecting all of us, protecting our water, which is going to become more serious as time goes on with pollution and corporate expansion and what's happening with global climate change. Water protectors, that's who they are. But the fact that native and non-native military veterans travel from around the world to protect them, to encircle them, says a lot about humanity. It says a lot about where we are as a world, and that we're all in this together, walking everybody home. John Willis asked if we would be interested in having the reservation artwork here at the environmentalism exhibit at Munson, and we said yes without knowing what it was. And this is the first image I saw. This is a modern watercolor from a Native American, and he painted it on a 1914 ledger sheet. which is 105 years old. And when they were filled with information, when they gave supplies to the Native Americans, they had no use for the filled up ledger sheet, so they gave it to anybody who wanted it. And generations ago, Native Americans took them and drew on them, painted on them. So the tradition continues for this day. John Willis has another book coming out, due to be published mid-November 2019, and there's 50 contributors for this book. The name of the book is Mini M-N-I Waconey, and it's honoring the water's protectors. And all his images that we have on exhibit here at Munson and many more will be part of that book. I'm Robert Floyd, Creative Director of the Robert Floyd Photo Gallery in Southampton, Massachusetts. We're in our 18th year. Actually, next month we'll be going into our 19th year. And our website is floydgallery.com. And we offer classes and workshops and seminars for basic, novice, intermediate, and advanced photographers. And nature and photojournalism are our themes.